Leggi. Share. Subscribe.
In the previous videos, we saw the influence of Egyptian, American, Indonesian, and Slavic mythology on Digimon. In this video we will see the impact of Greek mythology.
Achillesmon. From Achilles, a hero of the Trojan War, and the greatest of all the Greek warriors. Aegiomon. From Egipan or Gopan, the son of Zeus and Aga. Aegiochusmon. From Jovigeochus, the epithet Zeus received as the father of Egipan. Algamon. From Argus Panopes, or Argos, who was a primordial giant whose epithet, Panopes, all-seeing, led to his being described with multiple, often 100, eyes. Amphimon. From Amphitrite, the goddess of the sea, the queen of the sea, and the wife of Poseidon. Ancient Irismon. From Iris, the personification of the rainbow and messenger of the gods in Greek mythology. She is also known as one of the goddesses of the sea and the sky, and travels with the speed of wind from one end of the world to the other. Ancient Mermaidmon. From the mermaid, a legendary aquatic creature with the head and upper body of a female human and the tail of a fish. Ancient Sphinxmon. From the Sphinx, a mythical creature with, as a minimum, the body of a lion and the head of a human. In Greek mythology, it would kill and eat those who could not answer its riddle. Ancient Troemon. From Troia, a legendary city and center of the Trojan War. It is also a reference to the Trojan horse. Ippias. Ippias, son of Panopeus, was a Greek soldier during the Trojan War. He built the Trojan horse, commissioned by Odysseus because Athena had told him in a dream she would be with him to help build it. Apocalypse. From Apocalypse, the revelation of the end of the world. In religious contexts, it is usually a disclosure of something hidden, a vision of heavenly secrets that can make sense of earthly realities. Apollomon. Apollo was the god of the sun, and also the twin brother of Diana/Artemis in Roman and Greek mythology. Phoebus Blow. Phoebus was one of the epithets applied to Apollo, which literally meant radiant. Phoebus also comes from the Greek Titanus, Phoebe, which means shining, the mother of Leto and grandmother of Apollo and Diana/Artemis. Archnemon. Arachne was a great mortal weaver who boasted that her skill was greater than that of Athena, goddess of wisdom and strategy, refusing to acknowledge that her knowledge came, in part at least, from the goddess. Offended by Arachne's arrogance, Athena set a contest between the two weavers. Ultimately, the goddess turned Arachne into a spider. For this reason, she bore the title of Queen of Spiders. Arcademon. Arcadia was a region in Greece that was celebrated as a utopia, an unspoiled, harmonious wilderness in Greek mythology. Beautymon. Rose of Phoenix. In Greek mythology, a phoenix is a mythical bird of great beauty fabled to live 1,400 years, to burn itself on a funeral pyre, and to rise from its ashes in the freshness of youth and live through another cycle of years, often an emblem of immortality or of reborn idealism or hope. Black War Greymon, ex-antibody. Hades' force. Hades was the ancient Greek god of the underworld, and the name was eventually also used to designate the abode of the dead. Callismon. From Callisto, a nymph of Artemis. Transformed into a bear and set among the stars, she was the bear mother of the Arcadians, through her son Arcus. Centaurmon. From Centaur, a half-man and half-horse creature from Greek mythology. Cerberumon. From Cerberus, a three-headed dog who guarded the gates of Hades in Greek mythology, to prevent those who have crossed the river Styx from ever escaping. Styx Killer. The Styx is a river in Greek mythology that formed the boundary between Earth and the underworld. Cerberumon. Jinru mode from Jinru, Japanese word which means werewolf, a mythological or folkloric human with the ability to shape-shift into a wolf. Chaos Dukmon. Giudecca Prison. Giudecca is one of the 4 sections of Cocytus, a river in the underworld in Greek mythology. Gorgon. The term Gorgon commonly refers to any of 3 sisters who had hair of living, venomous snakes, and a horrifying visage that turned those who beheld her to stone. Chimeraman. From the chimera, a creature composed of the parts of 3 animals, a lion, a serpent, and a goat. The term chimera has come to describe any mythical or fictional animal with parts taken from various animals. Philemon. The name may have been inspired by Scylla, a sea monster from Greek mythology. Cyclamen. From the Cyclops, members of a primordial race of giants with a single eye in the middle of each of their foreheads. Divitamamon. Pandora's box. Pandora was the first human woman created by the gods, specifically by Hephaestus and Athena on the instructions of Zeus. Dianamon. Arrow of Artemis. Artemis was the Hellenic goddess of the hunt, wild animals, wilderness, childbirth, virginity, and protector of young girls, bringing and relieving disease in women. She often was depicted as a huntress carrying a bow and arrows. She is the Greek equivalent of Diana. Dukmon. Aegis. The shield/buckler/breastplate of Athena and Zeus, famously bearing Medusa's head. It is described as ageless and immortal. 100 tassels of pure gold hang fluttering from it, tie-woven each of them, and each the worth of 100 oxen. Antmon. Dryad Stinger. Dryad is a tree nymph or tree spirit in Greek mythology. Eosmon. Eos is a Titaness and the Greek goddess of the dawn. Gaemon/Gaemonapmon. Gaia was the ancient Greek goddess of the earth. Ultimate Adamus. From Adamus, Latin word for adamant. In Greek mythology, Cronus castrated his father Uranus using an adamant sickle given to him by his mother Gaia. Grand Dracumen. Eye of the Gorgon. The term Gorgon commonly refers to any of 3 sisters who had hair of living, venomous snakes, and a horrifying visage that turned those who beheld her to stone. Grand Gaelmon. Stymphalids. The Stymphalian birds are a group of voracious birds in Greek mythology. The bird's appellation is derived from their dwelling in a swamp in Stymphalia. Grace Novaman. Meleagros. From Meleager, a hero venerated in his Temenos at Calydon in Aetolia. He was already famed as the host of the Caledonian boar hunt in the epic tradition that was reworked by Homer. Gryphon. From the griffin, a legendary creature with the body, tail, and back legs of a lion, the head and wings of an eagle, and an eagle's talons as its front feet. As the lion was traditionally considered the king of the beasts, and the eagle was the king of the birds, the griffin was thought to be an especially powerful and majestic creature. The griffin was also thought of as king of the creatures. Griffins are known for guarding treasure and priceless possessions. Hadesman. Hades was the ancient Greek god of the underworld, and the name was eventually also used to designate the abode of the dead. King of the underworld. In mythology, is an otherworld where souls go after death, and is the original Greek idea of afterlife. Harpamon. From the Harpy, winged spirits best known for constantly stealing all food from Phineus. They were agents of punishment who abducted people and tortured them on their way to Tartarus, and were vicious, cruel, and violent. They were usually seen as the personifications of the destructive nature of wind. Hippogryphomon. From the hippogriff, a legendary creature which resembles a winged horse with the head and upper body of an eagle. Hydramon. From the hydra, a multi-headed serpent in Greek mythology that dwelled in the swamps of Lerna. It was known for its poisonous blood and rapid regeneration. Intense Lampture. A reference to Iolaus, who cauterized the open wounds caused by Heracles cutting off each of the hydra's heads with a flaming torch to prevent them from regenerating. Hypnos. From hypnos, the personification of sleep in Greek mythology. The Roman equivalent is known as somnus. Jedmerimon. Ouroboros gate. The Ouroboros is an ancient symbol depicting a serpent or dragon eating its own tail. Laniamon. From Lamia, a child-eating monster. Lycaemon. From Lycaon, a king of Arcadia, son of Pelasgus and Melibea, who in the most popular version of the myth tested Zeus by serving him a dish of his slaughtered and dismembered son in order to see whether Zeus was truly omniscient. In return for these gruesome deeds, Zeus transformed Lycaon into the form of a wolf. Merimon. From the chimera, a creature composed of the parts of three animals, a lion, a serpent, and a goat. The term chimera has come to describe any mythical or fictional animal with parts taken from various animals. Medusamon. From Medusa, one of the three Gorgons. Eyes of Gorgon. The Gorgons are three monstrous sisters, Stheno, Euryale, and Medusa, said to be the daughters of Phorcys and Ceto. Mermaimon. From the mermaid, a legendary aquatic creature with the head and upper body of a female human and the tail of a fish. Metalgaruramon. Cocytus breath. Cocytus is a river in the underworld in Greek mythology. Cocytus flows into the river Acheron, across which is the underworld, the mythological abode of the dead. It is sometimes referred to as a frozen lake. Minotaurmon. From the Minotaur, a creature with the head of a bull on the body of a man. He dwelt at the center of the Cretan labyrinth, which was an elaborate maze-like construction designed by the architect Daedalus and his son Icarus on the command of King Minos of Crete. The Minotaur was eventually killed by the Athenian hero Theseus. Necromon. From necromancer, a kind of magician who communicate with spirits of the dead to gain knowledge or perform tasks. Necromancy is associated with black magic, witchcraft, and divination. Nyx. From Nyx, the Greek goddess of the night. A shadowy figure, Nyx stood at or near the beginning of creation and mothered other personified deities such as Hypnos, sleep, and Thanatos, death, with Erebus, darkness. Pegasmon. From the Pegasus, a winged divine horse usually depicted as white in color. He was captured by the Greek hero Bellerophon near the fountain Perennae with the help of Athena and Poseidon. Pegasus allows the hero to ride him to defeat a monster, the Chimera, before realizing many other exploits. Poseidon. Poseidon is one of the 12 Olympian deities of the pantheon in Greek mythology. His main domain is the ocean, and he is called the god of the sea. Plutomon. Pluto was the ruler of the underworld in Greek mythology. The earlier name for the god was Hades, which became more common as the name of the underworld as a place. His Roman counterpart is Dis Pater. Rosamond, ex-antibody. Aphrodite. From Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love, beauty, pleasure, and procreation. She is identified with the planet Venus. Myrtle, roses, doves, sparrows, and swans were sacred to her. Siren. From the siren, dangerous and beautiful creatures portrayed as femmes fatales who lured nearby sailors with their enchanting music and voices to shipwreck on the rocky coast of their island. Thealudimon. From the Thea, the Titaness of shining, associated with shining metals, shining jewels, or shining light. Her other name is Euryphessa, which means white shining. Titamon. From the Titan, immortal beings of incredible strength and stamina, and were also the first pantheon of Greek gods and goddesses. Thetismon. From Thetis, a figure in Greek mythology with varying mythological roles. She mainly appears as a sea nymph, a goddess of water, or one of the 50 Nereids, daughters of the ancient sea god Nereus. Unimon. From the unicorn, a legendary animal from European folklore that resembles a white horse with a large, pointed, spiraling horn projecting from its forehead, and sometimes a goat's beard and cloven hooves. Uranusman. Uranus was the primal Greek god personifying the sky. Wargreymon, ex-antibody, Poseidon force. Poseidon is one of the 12 Olympian deities of the pantheon in Greek mythology. His main domain is the ocean. Wargaruramon. From werewolf, a mythological or folkloric human with the ability to shape-shift into a wolf. Wisemon. Pandora dialogue. Pandora was the first human woman created by the gods, specifically by Hephaestus and Athena on the instructions of Zeus. Witchmon. From the witch, a woman thought to have magic powers, especially evil ones, popularly depicted as wearing a black cloak and pointed hat and flying on a broomstick. Zephygammon. From Zephyrus, the Greek god and personification of the west wind. Anim embrace. The Anim were wind gods, who were each ascribed a cardinal direction from which their respective winds came, and were each associated with various seasons and weather conditions.
Like, share, subscribe